Hey guys, D.Bowie here, and this is how to play Queen of Pain now in 7.01 featuring Sumail. Queen of Pain is a hero that was considered complete garbage last patch. No one dared to play it, and when they did, even in pro matches, the outcome was almost always QoP losing. In this patch, her win rate, even in higher MMRs, is not too much to talk about. Part of it could be due to people still playing her differently than optimal, because let's be honest, no one really knows what is the best way of playing her still. As of now though, Sumail had a lot of success with this approach, using it in tons of pubs and professional games. Veil into Blade Mail and Octarine. Occasionally we see other items like Linkens or Scepter, but Veil of Discord, Blade Mail and Octarine are the pillars of this build. To start it off, QoP is against Ember, a hero that early on doesn't really do anything to her. But as he gets more levels and maxes Syrian Chains, she can be brought down time and time again by the disable time from the skill, so making sure that Ember's game is as miserable as possible is a necessity. A lot of mid-level players, when they face themselves against a melee matchup in the mid lane, they feel like farming more than harassing because it is easier to get less hits most of the time. The thing though is that you accomplish way more by taking the enemy mid out of the lane than getting a few extra less hits. Since Sumail gets a good block, pay attention to his decision making. The first thing he does right away is using poison and right-clicking Ember. He has no counterplay to this. As he takes the aggro away, he hits a tangle and keeps going for Ember even with the lane creeps attacking him. Look how he positions himself. As soon as Flame Guard ends, he doesn't stop the pressure, and with the skill on cooldown, he can easily use Salve in the middle of the lane. Another aspect of playing against melee cores in the mid lane that players don't know or forget is that maintaining creep equilibrium is not necessarily good. Even if he commits salve while as hitting, all those creeps will do a lot of damage to him as he tries to last hit under the tower. And Sumail does something amazing here. Ember was positioned very far back, clearly waiting the poison to be over to use salve, and with QoP you can easily cancel it if you're paying attention. Crispy play. And as you can see, by playing like that, not only Ember has 0 less hits, but now he's forced to less hit under the tower with his self cancelled, when he has no Quelling Blade and also has just average base damage. But I mean, maybe I wasn't really clear on what I mean by playing like that. Double waving is something simple. You harass the enemy hero a lot. By doing that, you draw aggro from the enemy creeps. The creeps are not attacking your own creeps, so they will take less damage, ending up in 2 or even more waves of creeps marching towards your enemy tower. What most people get wrong about double waving is that they start auto-attacking creeps when the enemy just retreats. If you do that, you will send 2 separate waves of creeps on the enemy tower, and this is overall easier to deal than a wave with 2 ranged creeps destroying your enemy mid. See how he even denies some creeps, so that the lane doesn't push that fast? Queen of Pain always had decent DPS with her right clicks, but she had her BAT buffed twice, so that's even more relevant now. Your dagger is not your only form of harass for sure. He goes for another attack on Ember, and pay attention to this right click trade against Murana. While Murana loses 90% of her HP, Sumail loses close to 15%. And a lot of players would be keen on jumping against Murana, and maybe, if that trade happened a few seconds before, he would be able to jump and run away. But with Ember getting level 2, he will definitely die before or after killing Murana, and none of these trades are good. You always need to think about your trades, and you really don't want to be dying early with QoP. You want to dominate the first 10 minutes because it will get harder for sure. Another point to note here, as the lane goes back to his side, is that even though he had range, he never tried to use dagger on Ember again. He's very close to level 3 and only has mana for 1 more skill, so he's way better off casting it later and just right clicks. This is a very cool engagement, showing those little things that most mid-level players struggle to remember during their games. Ember does misplay though. He went up the stairs against the level 5 QoP, which is very risky. That being said, Sumail also doesn't play this to perfection. He wanted to use Scream of Pain on Ember and misses it. Instead of blinking in and right-clicking, which would allow Ember to use chains or summon TP and rotate after that, he keeps less hitting. He knows he has mana for Blink and Scream, and since Ember did not respect Sumail's cooldowns, he perishes. The main strength and weaknesses of Queen of Pain is her Blink. Unless you're sure there's not going to be a reaction, blinking in to deal damage slowly with dagger and right clicks is risky, and the way Sumail kills Ember is just way superior. As he goes back to base, we see another good showing of assessing the situation and playing accordingly. Pudge goes for a gank as Sumail TPs in the lane, but just a little bit after, he clicked on Ember and sees that he is level 4, so when he blinks in, I can see a lot of players using Sonic Wave to guarantee the kill. But there's no need for it, Sky is pretty much dead, and only when Murana shows up, he feels like the ult is worth being spent. I also want to point out how Sumail blinks using Scream and also right clicking right away. I feel like with heroes like Storm, players are sometimes too focused in casting skills, and they forget about attacking as soon as they blink. This gets very obvious when you're blinking among a lot of creeps or heroes, and you see your hero auto-attacking some random unit, instead of the one you wanted to focus. As Sumail blinks in, you can see him instantly clicking on Sky to auto-attack. Minor, but always useful. Sumail is having a great game, and this can cloud you sometimes in doing stupid or suboptimal things. The best course of action Sumail has is pressuring Ember. Sumail's ult is on cooldown, he still doesn't have Veil, so ganking is not that easy. While forcing Ember to farm less and slowly, by delaying his level 6 even more, is very important in this game, so I really like him going back mid. And even when he gets level 6, pay attention to this clip. Can you see in the back of your mind your mid player blinking in where Pudge is, while Ember dodges the gank with Remnant? Sumail only right clicks because he knows there's no rush to get this kill. As Ember uses Remnant, Sumail kills him later. Sumail keeps the pressure. A lot of players see Queen of Pain as a ganker, and while we went a long way convincing people that mid heroes don't really need to gank, Queen of Pain is still seen as that exception, that hero that ganks a lot. With maybe the exception of Legion, Ember is a hero that can cause a lot of problems to him in the mid game. He could be farming the jungle, which is less optimal, but he is not, so punishing Ember is way easier and reliable to Sumail than going for other ganks. He goes on Ember once, Veil, Scream, Dagger, but Ember can run away. At the same time though, he spent all his mana, and by not rushing things and looking at Ember's inventory, just a few seconds later, he knows that Ember can't run away with Remnant anymore. He easily predicts Ember movements and kills him. In my opinion, unless you're being completely destroyed or playing support co-op, getting the damage as level 10 talent is way better. With your BAT being even better, that damage translates into a lot of DPS, and that is very strong even when you're playing this magic damage Blade Mail Queen of Pain. Sumail finally misplays. Legion was missing in the map, and maybe Sumail felt like it was too early for the offlane Legion to have Blink, and in a way he is right. But as we can see, PA was tilting and Legion is the second hero in net worth, meaning that he got an amazing lane. And since Sumail was playing so boldly to punish Ember, he gets baited. But at least Pudge gets Ember right after. And as the game goes on, we start seeing how deceptively co-op's powering the game is. To be honest, a good part of Sumail's struggling is how much Legion was able to take out of her lane. But even more importantly, how she's focusing on ganking co-op instead of any other hero. And you might be saying, oh, with that extra strength he would survive, and considering that arrow, I highly doubt that. So thank God Sumail played so well in the beginning, or else this game could be a loss instead of a win. They end up spotting Ursa going for Roche, and after 2 kills you can clearly see Sumail adapting to the new situation he finds himself. The number 1 cause of death for Queen of Pains is using Blink aggressively to farm lanes or kills that didn't need the extra jump. So he walks towards the lane and respects the fact that it's nighttime and he doesn't have vision of dire heroes. This time his team is going aggressive first, and that's all Sumail needs to be a relevant force in that fight. By arriving later, they are able to kill Legion, and with a very smart jump in those trees, they also snipe Skyref.
Know your weakness. Carry me on.
I really like this clip too. Sumail is farming the jungle, and by actually moving his mouse to what the enemy is doing instead of looking at the minimap, he's able to get a way better picture of what's going on, securing a kill. So not only he saw Ember in the enemy jungle a little bit before, but he also sees Ursa blinking in aggressively while Mirana is in the mid lane without ult because of that other fight. This coupled with X being around guarantees they can go on Ursa because Blink is on cooldown, so he just can't run away. People usually have the impression that only looking at the minimap is enough to get map awareness, and this is completely false. The only way to actually see that Blink was being committed is looking outside of your hero. I guess I didn't really talk about how and why this new Queen of Pain build works, so here you go. Veil is just a great item that gives you armor, more HP, enough intelligence, and by going the cooldown reduction talent at level 15 and Octarine core, you end up being able to increase your magic damage potential enough to be relevant. The usual build up is going Veil, Blade Mail, and then Octarine core. You get enough armor from Blade Mail and Veil, and enough HP and mana from the Octarine core components to play very aggressively. Not only your uptime on Blade Mail is very low, so pretty much no one can burst you because your lifesteal off of Blade Mail with Octarine and your talent, but you have a lot of magic damage because of the reduced cooldowns and right click damage because of your low BAT. In this particular game, Sumail is going Linken's because of how strong the Blink Legion Skyref combo is. And that's also why he started playing more defensively after Legion got that early blink. It really doesn't matter how good of a start Sumail had, as long as Legion Commander and Sky are playing together, and remember, LC had a great game, Sumail can't play that aggressive. When players end up in a situation close to Sumail's, they often have the right idea. They know that to play aggressive again, they need their Linken Sphere. What ends up biting them in the ass is that they feel like the only way to get the gold is AFK farming, when in reality you definitely can fight, you just need to be patient and wait Legion or Sky to waste their spells. Pay attention how Sumail only uses Blink aggressively when Enigma commits Black Hole and Sky ult was committed. Even if Legion is hidden, he can't jump inside of Black Hole to ult him, and they secure a kill. Sumail can't play aggressively anymore, but that doesn't mean he can't fight. Before I finish this video, I would like to thank everyone for supporting me and my channel. As most of you know, the greatest bottleneck in making my videos is finding meaningful replays and fights to dissect for you. At the same time, I always felt that my Patreon rewards were underwhelming and were not giving my supporters anything in return. I want to change that, and as of now, if you want to help me make better videos, you can be my Patreon there, you can share a replay or a particular fight you liked with me. What's in there for you? Well, if I ever use a suggestion you sent me, you will be participating in a monthly raffle. The winner gets a replay of their choice analyzed by me. You can choose exactly what you want me to focus on and whether the video gets uploaded on YouTube or not. All the Patreon users will have access to the video as well, so that's cool. Well, this wraps up for today. If you enjoyed this video, please guys give it a thumbs up, it helps a lot. If you want to see the extended version of this video, please check the link in the description, and I can't overstate how this video would never be possible without the huge help from the Pugna guys, so please show them some love. Pugna is a platform where you can learn from people like Chessie, Fogged, Slasher, Monib, and get better at the game. They have now great content on 7.0.0, and if you want to raise your MMR, it's a great time. Just figure out the patch faster than others and get those easy wins. As I already talked about in my Sven, PL and Anti-Mage videos, pros are oftentimes dishing Quelling Blade completely. Even Anti-Mage sometimes doesn't go for Quelling Blade early on, even though he builds better Fury eventually, which actually uses the item. And as I said, he goes for Boots and Stealth Shield, and queues Treads as his next item. There is no standard boots that comes even close to how much value Wraith King can get out of Power Treads. And as he last hits under the tower, he makes a very cheeky and beautiful play.